You just took notes on what CRAAP means and been told that you're going to use a rubric, but we haven't actually looked at the rubric yet. So let's take a second to do that. This screencast will go on to do an example. If you feel comfortable enough doing this on your own using the rubric, then feel free to stop after I've explained it. However, I do hold you accountable at this point for knowing this information. So you'll see along the left margin here the same notes: currency, reliability, authority, the author, organization, and purpose. This middle part is what you really took notes on. And then this part on the right is the rubric. And you'll see that you have a score rating from 0 to 3. And this is where you will be doing the evaluating of the website. So this is very similar to rubrics that we use for writing in school. It's just the intention of a rubric is to evaluate something. So you're going to be evaluating the currency of a website, looking at, was it updated less than 2 years ago? Was it updated within the last 3 years? And based on what you find, you can circle it or color it in or whatever for each of these areas. And what you're going to do is you go down to the bottom and it tells you what the scoring means. So don't feel like you have to get a 3 for everything in order to use it for your research. If you get 12 to 15, it says excellent source for research. 8 to 11 is a good source. Just confirm with other sources, which we do anyways. Anytime you do a research project, I require 3 different sources. So you will have met that requirement. But if you get something that scores 4 to 7 points, it says it's useful for casual project, but do not cite as a reference. And if you get a 0 to 3, then it is highly questionable. So you might find that you have 3 here and you get a 0 over here, but as long as this is a 2 and a 3, you're still going to fit within that score range. So one other note to take note of, I just did a quick search here. I'm going to pretend I'm doing a research project on Polyphemus. Polyphemus was a cyclops who captured Odysseus on his trip home. So I did a quick search. One thing I want to point out, I do not allow you to use Wikipedia as a source. I know that there's some debate over that. Until I can go on to Wikipedia and not be allowed to edit it, then I am not allowing it for you. That is not to say Wikipedia is not a great source. I use it all the time. I just don't use it for a project that I'm going to use for research that's going to be graded on. Okay? So if you'd like to stop now, you feel comfortable with using this rubric on your own. Up in the front file folders, I have many copies of this. Anytime you use a online website, you can use this. If you use any of the books in my class, you don't need to do that. If they've gone through the publication process already, they have been deemed reliable because they were published. So you don't need to use a CRAAP form for them. Okay? But I am going to go ahead and I want to take a look at this website here. And using this rubric, the first thing it tells me I need to do, is look for the currency of it. So typically your publication, your copyright dates are going to be down at the bottom. If you see a copyright date like this with a range, 2018 is current. So that means it was published in 1997. Somebody is still evaluating or maintaining that website, checking it for accuracy, and updates it every year. Then I can go ahead and say that that gets a 3. The next thing I'm looking, does the creator provide links to sources for data? Does it seem error-free? So if I go look back at this website, I want to look for spelling and punctuation type errors. Look to see, are there other sources that are referenced down here? And I don't see a source referenced for this one. I do want to say, I think somewhere else on one of these I did. Oh, maybe it wasn't this website. So I'm not really seeing any other links to other sources that would confirm. Sometimes websites will have sources or bibliography down at the bottom. So if I had to say this, I don't see any information telling me where this person got their information from. Another thing you might see along the top or the bottom or from their home page is an about. So let's see. Oh, here I see one about GreekMythology.com. So if I go here, I can kind of scan through. I don't expect you to read all of this, but you do need to check the accuracy of your website. And going down here, I see a disclaimer. It says the information contained in this website is for general information purposes only. While we endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct, we make no representation or warranties of any kind about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability. So that, to me, right there is a red flag. If they're not even willing to back the information up they put in their website, then that is not a reliable source. So I would start over at this point. I would abandon this website and go look for another one. So I'm going to look at the next source that I found here. And I'm going to start all over, see if I can't find a copyright date or a publication date. So if I go typically down to the very bottom of the page, I'll see if there's a copyright date. And I say 2000 to 2017. So if I go back to my rubric, that is within 2 years, so I can give it a 3. Next, I'm looking at the reliability of the information. I see Theo Project. I see an author, so that's a good thing. And I do see some sources here. So I can give this, reliability-wise, does it provide links or information about sources? I can give that a 3. The author's name is listed. I'm going to tell you I did take a second already and Google this author, and I couldn't find anything out about him. I couldn't find any credentials. Sometimes you can look around, and I did take a gander through the home page, through some of the different links on the side. I looked for an about, and I couldn't find anything. So if I had to, let's see, it says credentials are given, which it's not. Author's name, but credentials are incomplete. I would have to give this a 2 here. Okay, and so you'll just keep going through. At the end, you'll add up whatever point value you had for each website and determine whether or not you can use it for a research topic. Okay, so this is an example. If you need any further help, you can come see me. Otherwise, you're ready to move on to the next step.